All right, everyone. Think you should be able to hear me now. Let me see. Yes. Okay, so the audio is picking up. Okay. All right, everyone. It's time to begin. I started the stream a bit later than I wanted to. Uh, Things happened, that had to be taken care of, but we're good now. Um, so tonight I am playing Marathon from 1994 by Bungie, back when they were just a little indie Mac developer before they were bought out by Microsoft and then by Sony. So let's start a new game. I'm gonna I'm gonna do a mistake here. We're gonna play on hard because I've already played this game. I didn't know whether or not to play like a custom scenario or uh, one of the original games, so let's go in on hard. Arrival. Well, that's ominous. Do I not have auto run on? Alright, fine, fine, fine. I'll gun you down. Okay. So if you go in with speed when you punch, it does more damage, I believe. Oops, hold on. I need to change my controls. So, oops. I thought I had auto run on. For some reason, I do not. Please, if anyone is watching, please let me know what the, how the, I guess, audio is. Where is my... Oh, here we go. Always run. Alright. There we go. I didn't know where it was. Alright. So there's story in the manual, as there often is with games of this vintage, but I'm not gonna read that to you. Go find it yourself. Oh my... there we go. Well, that door's not gonna open. Message to all Marathon terminals. Marathon Emergency Systems broadcast. Today at 0820 hours, the Marathon came under surprise attack from unknown hostile forces. The Marathon has sustained serious damage. At 0830 hours, alien forces boarded the Marathon. The current situation is dire. All personnel are required to arm themselves and fight for their lives. Incoming message from Leela. Welcome to the Marathon. I am Leela, one of the 2 surviving artificial intelligences aboard the Marathon. I have been severely damaged and am working to understand the current situation. Find the teleport terminal located in the hangar's control room. By that time, I should have a better idea of what is going on. End message. This is where you are now. From here you can explore the rest of the hangar area, though not all of the doors on the level are functioning. Yep. Okay, save. Yep, teleport there. Okay. Yeah, so no quick saves. We gotta use our checkpoints here. All right, let's see if we can fist some of these guys. I shouldn't say it like that. The answer is no. Yep. Okay. Oh god, oh god. Ah! It's a good thing that this conquering alien army is only using melee weapons for now. Might change the mouse sensitivity a little. Next chance I get. I see you. See, in the before military, I don't care what people say. All right, I don't think the P is silent. Maybe that's canon. I don't know. I guess in the before military, you have to earn your projectile weapons. All right, all right. No more meleeing until I'm actually in danger, I guess. Of you know, losing ammo or whatever. Well, I can do it to these guys. There we go. Of course, like any decent classic shooter worth its salt, you're immediately thrown into a maze. Hooray for claustrophobia! Anything there? Nope. Also, there's no manual reloading. And none of that bottomless magazine crap, you know, if you If you run out of, or if you want to reload, you gotta give up those bullets, son. There we go. I gotta, like, relearn how the combat works in this first one. Because I've played a lot more of, 2 and Infinity, which is more or less just an expansion pack for the second game. Hmm. Okay. Looks like we're back. Sorry about that. Had a little bit of network trouble there. You know, the power was out when I got home earlier. Maybe that should have been an indication. Not to, not to even bother today. Yes, the classic first person shooter experience. Any 90s gamer would be familiar with. Where do I go? So many corridors. And there's our first Safit compiler. Also, no crosshair in this game. You gotta actually aim. Let's just punch it till it dies. There we go. What's down this hole? Back to the observation deck. I guess I'll save here. Don't know if now is the best time to save, but can't hurt to make one. Okay, so that's the way we went to go back down. Also, this map is incredibly helpful when, when places are on top of each other. Although this is one of those non-Euclidean, map geometry games where you can totally just put places inside of other places, and honestly, the idea that you could be even more sadistic with that than how confusing the maps here can already be is, they could have made some real brain melters. And there's our health recharging station. You thought Half-Life did it first. Nope. Sorry, buddy. You're on my computer. I gotta fist you till you die. There we go. Unauthorized access alarm, security breached, bleached, what am I saying? Breached, blah 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 blah. Fire and blah 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 aspects of the theory are as follows. Each society has some controlling force or forces which decide its direction, but the relationships in society are arbitrary. Humanity can relate to money, machines, neighbors, anything, really. Logical reset. Individual character and personality are preserved in stories, movies, ROM personalities, etc. Although individual expression is a universal ability, individual freedom is constrained by the society. See attached figure. Spurious interrupt, breach disabled, further access denied, breach location undetermined. All right, you know, we get some rants about how we live in a society, you know. Thank you for the bullets. Open up. Thank you. Oh, hi guys. Come on, infight, infight. Yeah, there we go. So infighting in this game does work a little differently than something like Doom because these aren't supposed to just be like, you know, dumb monsters that just attack whatever's in front of them. Basically, when they take enough damage, they can enter like a frenzy state where they will just start attacking everyone. So I think that's the exit teleporter, so let's see what else we can get to over here. I want to know what's in that corridor. I don't know if I actually can reach it or not. But I have to at least try. Yeah, I think that's just kind of supposed to be... Oh, yeah, see, there you go. There's a compiler over there. And a purple one, so he's like an elite. Just gotta solve this, you know, reality-bending maze here. I don't know who designs a spaceship like this. I mean, you do know who designs the ship if you know, look at the lore of the marathon, which basically this is like this is Deimos, the Martian moon that was like hollowed out and turned into a giant ship to, you know, send resources to space colonies or whatever. I'm sure a lore expert will, you know, correct me on that, tell me all the ways I'm wrong, or you know, whatever details I'm getting wrong, but I mean, that's more or less what it is. All right, I'm gonna jump him. I'm gonna jump him right. See? He can't shoot me if I get up in his face. He's like a pain elemental. Come on, buddy. Yeah, so no real extra information. But that is the first hint as to what the floating cloak guys are doing on the ship. A little bit of environmental storytelling, which is kind of crazy that that's a term that you can really apply like that to a first-person shooter of its vintage, because, you know, Bungie actually gave a crap about story. I'm gonna top up my health again. Also, can I see what's in... Yeah, there we go. Oh, look, a save point. I'm just gonna sit here and sip my Coke as I wail on this guy with my one hand. You can use both fists in later games, but unfortunately in the first one you are limited to single fisting. Alright, I think I've explored all the paths. I just gotta find that shield recharger again. Since now that I'm playing on hard, I can't mess around, you know? Where are you? I wish these things were, you know, labeled better on the map instead of just like the, you know, the general shape of the level, but ah well. I mean, I guess it's not that big of a deal. I could just go to the second level. Given how late I started this stream, I probably should. Alright, fine. I'll just go in there. Incoming message from Leela. All of the information that I have gathered so far indicates that the alien invasion of the Marathon has been relatively uncoordinated. I suspect that this is partially due to the Marathon's large size. However disorderly the alien invasion is, their assault of the computer net has been extremely effective. I detect security breaches in almost every computer system aboard the Marathon. I have learned that there is an alien creature that is capable of interfacing with our systems. You must kill any of these creatures that you find. It is a priority that we stop them. Even now, they are penetrating my defenses. Teleport now. Jump pad activation, initiation, start, transport when ready. And now we are on... Oh yeah, I think the first level is called Mars Needs Women, which is not the plot of the game. This is not Duke Nukem. Yeah, now bigger guns nearby. Thank you for letting me know. I was getting tired of just pistoling. All right. Incoming message from Leela. I am now in contact with a number of colonists planetside, but their reports on the situation below are conflicting and obviously exaggerated. The primary medium-range radio antenna has been disabled or destroyed. Sorry for the hiccups. I don't know what's going on with me. Hold on. Let me just... Okay. Sorry. Just checking something. Alright, anyways. Which makes communication extremely difficult. The only thing which seems clear is that the spaceport was obliterated by low-yield nuclear weapons minutes after the attack on the Marathon began. This I can verify through my own optical instruments. The invaders seem to be more interested in the Marathon than the colony, at least in the short term. The motives behind their unprovoked attack are still unknown, however. Alright. Sorry. Just checking something again. This is the computer terminal you are using now. I cannot teleport you out of this section from here, so you will have to leave from another terminal after you find the assault rifle. There is an M75 assault rifle / grenade launcher and ammunition at this location. When firing on the fully automatic setting, this weapon is highly inaccurate, but the grenades hit hard and it's the best we can do right now. Ammunition may be scarce for a while, so be prepared to fall back to your pistol. Here is the terminal you must reach to leave this section. Alien infiltration of this area is high. Proceed with caution. You may find doors blocked or stairways retracted on the way because the AI in control of these functions is damaged and behaving erratically. Or deranged, that works too. Alright. That's the way I came. You can see just how much more damage I did, like, running forward with the fist. Pick up that, yeah, there we go. This bulbous assault rifle here. Let's wait to use it. Alright. Yeah, as you can see, highly inaccurate. Which is canonically due to a manufacturing error, which is kind of funny as an explanation for game balance. Alright, switch away from the fist. Anywhere else over here? Doesn't... Oh, wait. Okay, so I gotta lift that up. See if we can do some of that Mario 2 platforming where you don't actually jump and you just kind of run and float over to it. I might not be able to do it with that particular section. You can, although I don't know if there's anything in there. You know what? Oh, no. Okay, that's not a good way to do it. You can, like I said, you can grenade jump or grenade, hop, basically rocket jumping, but before that was a thing that people said. Because this game just did a lot of stuff first that other games got credit for. Like, basically just everything Half-Life did, except for, having stuff happen in front of you, because this is a very much a tell, don't show sort of storytelling method, which, 94. Can't exactly get mad that, oh, you don't have good cutscenes. I mean, 1994, the best video game cutscenes were, like, FMVs. I think there's more guys over there. Ah, there we go. I forgot that there was one here. Oh. Or didn't notice, I guess. Yeah, just turn those lights off. Let's try that grenade launcher. Yeah! Just blew them up into chunks. Let's find a save point before we try to rocket jump up there. I say find a save point like there wasn't one literally right there. Alright, I'll go down there in a second. Alright, let's do something horribly advised. Okay. Can't even quick save this. You gotta know what you're doing. There's probably not even anything up there. Ah! I don't know if it actually works better this way. Probably not. Oh, I'm out of grenades. That's what happens when you mess around. At least we have the health stations. Although these ones are not filled with antlion grub juice, so, you know, not as fun. Oh yeah, it's that way. Okay. I'll probably change the... I think I said earlier I was going to go into options and change the mouse sensitivity, and yet here I am, not having done that. I'm a liar. Yes, I do wish to quit, so I can change my preferences. There we go. I don't know what I have it set to in the other games. Combat just feels better in those ones, admittedly. There we go. So I think I'm supposed to go up there and get that thing. Alright, alright. There we go. Do it like that. I wasn't at full speed when I did that. There we go. I'll just shoot you. Random piece of paper on the ground. Are we still using paper in the 28th century? Would have thought it'd be out of style. Hey, where'd you come from? Bet I wish I hadn't wasted my grenades for that. There we go. Oh. Alright. And I think, yeah, the other guy's gonna come from the top. Actually, let's not waste my rifle ammo on that. Ah! That was close. There we go. Oh. Okay, yeah, I think it's after that that the compilers come down. Ah! 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 Shouldn't have done that, shouldn't have done that. Okay. I love the thing with, like, your speed affecting your melee damage. And I think some of the Halo games have that too, because I remember hearing in some video, like, if you melee with the rocket launcher, like, while coming down from a jump or whatever, it does more damage or something like that. Um, I really wish that there were more of these types of shooters that did stuff like that, because, like, that's one thing that's I always kind of wish more of these you know, boomer shooter developers would try to do something interesting with is melee combat. Like, yes, I know shooting is the basis of the genre, but you can still do something interesting with closer range, you know, weapons and stuff. And really, in general, there's a lot of stuff in this series in particular that where it's like kind of different than a lot of other shooters of its vintage. You know, Bungie were Mac developers. I don't know how much other games they played, but you know, they weren't just copying Doom. They were doing something new. And I suppose really, like, if you look at it in kind of like an evolutionary, family tree sort of sense, this is more built off of their previous game, Pathways into Darkness, which was like a first person action RPG dungeon crawler sort of thing. And originally Marathon was going to be more of an RPG, but they I believe it that build, which is on like one of the trilogy discs, or whatever, that they released later, it just wasn't really panning out, so they refocused it to be action oriented. So it's sort of like, most of these other uh, shooters of its era kind of trace their lineage more directly to, like, Wolfenstein 3D and games like that. But this one's a little different, and it approaches things from a bit of a different angle. That's something that's kind of fun about going back to old games, is like how they each, looked at, like, at different, I guess, or the same, like, ways to approach, gameplay concepts and stuff, but you had all these different developers on different hardware that each kind of had their own ways to approach things, like, and it's like, something like Jumping Flash, or it's like, how do we do 3D platformers? You're in how do you do a good 3D first person platformer? Well, here you've got like a drop shadow, and your view goes down when you do a double jump, so you can see where you land. I don't know, it's just interesting. And you have all these different solutions. Some of them work, some of them don't. Um, Depending on like which games we're looking at, but damn it. But it's something that I think is really interesting, and I kind of wish you had more of that sort of variance in games today, at least outside of, like, indie stuff sometimes. I think it was something that I think, like, I remember it was, I don't know, I don't think it was in a video, it might have just been on like a Twitter post or whatever, where the Geek Critique talked about, like, if you look at the control layout for, like, Metal Gear Solid 2 and GTA 3, which came out around the same time, they both had completely different ideas of how to approach, like, 3D third-person shooting and such. And then you look at, like, GTA 5 and MGS 5, it's very similar, because it's kind of all just, like, like, if you play a bunch of modern games compared to, like, a bunch of older games that are all trying to be, for instance, third-person shooters or whatever, like, you wouldn't be allowed to make a game like that controls like the original Tomb Raider today, because it'd be like, oh, what is this? We know how 3D platformer shooters should work. Like, what are you trying to do? But you got to do stuff like that back then, because everyone was figuring things out, and I think it just kind of made the gaming landscape a bit messier, but a bit more interesting. Now it feels like every big game is like has the same controls for, like, over the shoulder third person open world shooter with crafting system, and you probably have to climb towers or something to map out an area. It's like, I don't know, that's something I enjoy about older games, is just seeing people, approach these issues, or not, like, these gameplay problems in different ways. Okay, I keep forgetting where they're going to pop out. There you are. I got you. Okay, well, now I'm completely out of my good ammo. Thanks. Probably should have just gone forward, but... What you doing on the computer, buddy? You playing Marathon? Huh? You enjoying it? Not enjoying it anymore, huh? What, you think... You think just because you got a nice cloak, you're allowed to be here, huh? Huh? There we go. I guess I should probably keep running forward, even if I'm just going to run against it, because that probably does add to your speed or whatever somehow. Marathon internal engineering documents. Subject: doors. There are 5 basic door designs to be used on the Marathon: outer bulkhead doors, airlock doors, inner bulkhead doors, tertiary. Thanks, Homestar. Or inner sealed non-vacuum safe doors, quaternary, or inner powered automatic opening doors. I don't have a funny way to pronounce quaternary. Sorry. Direct control of all doors except the tertiary and quaternary doors will be given to Durandal, with indirect control of all other doors going to Durandal. The difference between direct and indirect control primarily has to do with the manner of opening the doors. Durandal will only open a directly controlled door when he is specifically asked to do so. Indirectly controlled doors are automatically controlled by Durandal to open when needed. However, due to the expense involved with adding thermal and visual spectrum sensors to the tertiary and quaternary door groups, these doors will be minimally used. The expected savings of not using this extra sensory input is estimated to be 57% of the base cost of the basic inner bulkhead door. Wow! Nice door lore! The types of doors are all basically the same with some slight variations. The doors in classes 1 and 3 are the same doors classified separately to distinguish between the level of safety checking required to assure acceptable leakage. The airlock doors are specifically modified to work with manual and remote activation switches. Airlocks are all to be marked with a specific airlock symbol and to be outfitted with an air recharge system. The tertiary and quaternary doors are designed exactly as the bulkhead doors, but are checked coarsely for air leakage. This article, as well as articles 530F and 532G on Windows and elevators in Windows, this is a Macintosh game, respectively, will be placed for public access in the Marathon Internal Engineering Documents section 1C Appendix H. Wow. Amazing. But I mean, you know, it's kind of impressive that a game from 1994 is like, how do we make the way doors work make sense in universe? I mean, I do like when game designers explain why things work in certain ways, you know, in universe. I think one of my favorite examples is Ultima 4. In the manual, they actually explain why merchants will buy your like crappy junk items so that they can, because they, you know, they use them, they like, you know, melt them back down to raw materials and stuff to, you know, make more things, which, you know, it's not the most mind-blowing thing ever, but it's like, hey, that's cool that you actually give me a reason why everyone will buy like my crappy junk sword that I got from some wolf that I stabbed. Incoming message from Leela. The Marathon's automated defenses were disabled during the initial attack by a directed magnetic pulse. The aliens used the same weapon to disable the Marathon's other 2 AIs, Durandal and Tycho, and to severely damage myself. I like how, you know, one of them's named after... I assume that's Tycho Brahe is the, is Tycho Brahe, whatever, however you're supposed to pronounce it, is the, you know, reference there. You know, the astronomer. And Durandal, the legendary sword from the Song of Roland. And then it's like, what's the other one? Leela. I don't know, unless that name references something that I don't know about. I could be wrong there. Durandal is responsible for controlling the ship's autonomous functions: doors, life support, kitchens, air reprocessors, stairs, and so on. Because he is non-functional, I am working to assume as many of these tasks as possible. Tycho controls the science and engineering network. Now that you are better armed, our first priority is to reactivate the Marathon's defenses under my control so that we may offer some resistance to the aliens. I have built 3 replacement circuit boards for the defense system, but cannot move them from the manufacturing center without assistance. I will now transport you to receive the replacement parts, and will give you further instructions when you arrive. Alright. Alright, never burn money. Let me check something real quick here. Oh, alright, I heard an enemy. Let's pause that before we, you know. So there's a secret on this level I'm gonna try to hit. Alright. Incoming message from Leela. The Marathon's automatic manufacturing systems have finished making replacement circuits. There are 3 circuits, each should be in its manufacturing holding chamber. With luck, the alien viruses have not infiltrated the manufacturing systems, but even if they had, I would have no way of knowing. The attacks on my systems are growing more steady. If the counterattack is not available to remove some of the computer infiltrators, then I will eventually succumb. It is absolutely imperative that a counterattack begin as soon as possible. The Marathon is not defenseless, and we can't let it be taken without a fight. This is where the circuit should be. Look into all of the receptacle lockers. There is a pattern buffer located next to your current location. I suggest that you use it immediately. After you have retrieved the circuits, return to the terminal at this location, and I will transport you to the defense center to install them. Alright? Oh, yes, the fly enemies that do not return in any future games. Which, honestly, not that big of a loss. How many of you guys are there? Alright, I'm not even gonna bother to go back there.
Oh.
The sound effects definitely improve in later games. Ah! Damn it. Mosquitoes! There we go. I actually don't know how much I need to be conserving this ammo, but, you know. flies spitting at me. Where'd you come from? There we go, in fight! Yeah! Alright, they're done in fighting, I think. Who's in there? Oh, hi. On an elevator, okay. Yeah, yeah, get him. Fight! 4 fights, let's go! Hey, good job eliminating the higher ranked guy. After you got hit, too. I mean, it's pretty cool of you, you know? I think you would have deserved a promotion had I not had to dispose of you. Music's going crazy. Get him, yeah! It's always fun making enemies turn on each other. Well, you know, they're allies, but, you know, they're all my enemies. That's what I mean. The worst people you know are fighting. Heartwarming. You know, if you can call any of these things people. Depends on your definition of bipedal bug creatures, you know. If you don't like, I guess, you know, maybe it depends on the alien. And, you know, personhood isn't automatically given to all intelligent space species. You know, if you're a bit spacist. Oh, there we go. So I believe the secret is along this hallway. Yep. You gotta enter the deprivation chamber. Although I might need grenades for it. Hey, you get a 3 times shield charger. Unless you get knocked down. And invincibility. Alright, I should be a little bit more careful with how I'm gonna use the, Alright. Yeah, there we go. Can I make it over the... Yes, I can! Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god! Ah! I'm gonna get to the secret. Secret, secret, I've got a secret. Oh, no, that's not the one. Oh, wait, no, yeah, it's... There we go. Ah! Ah! Damn it. Okay. Alright. Let's do this right. If I can find where I'm supposed to be going. Admittedly, the volume is very low, so hopefully you can hear the in-game music. Maybe I can change that, actually. Let's, preferences, sound. Yeah, let's turn that up a bit. Alright. So now I'll go back. Where'd you come from? We'll, re-up my shield. Okay. Come on. Ah, no! All these barrels, they don't even explode. Maybe I should go hunt for more ammo and then return. Alright, is it here? It's not. Ooh, warning, Core OS, blah blah blah, mod date later than current date slash time. This was modified in the future. You know, or artificially post dated. Here was nothing to be gained from hesitation now. Blah blah blah. In her possession, it would become something of consequence, though it was nothing more than a simple reticular flower, or more precise, when she had it just so the room flickered and tore, bending into somewhere else. System error number 25 at Jackson, which caused her to be consumed by an ashless fire. Doors opened before her without cause, their locks rusted and shattered. before her slender hands began to dance in front of her horrified face, before turning into a fine powder which settled in a pile on where she had been standing 14,700 miles away, eyes on fire, tearing at her hair. Turning in fury, she kicked viciously. Anger made her careless, and she Alright. Nice jumble of potentially meaningful text. Oh, I'm pretty sure people have analyzed this game back to front. There's a whole website that's been up since '95, by the way, the marathon story page, which I really would recommend looking at if you are interested in the story of this game. It's got all the terminal text from these games if, you don't really want to play through some of the more frustrating bits or whatever, but you're interested in the lore. And it's got like it's got basically discussion on each of those different aspects. Okay. I came to find ammo. I'll lose it. Ah, damn it. Alright. Alright, we'll just go into the deprivation chamber. Just try our best. Alright. There we go. You're supposed to use all those, all the hits to, get yourself up higher. Which one? Alright. So I think it's the right one again. Here we go. I believe this is it. Yeah, and I got the achievement for it. Data transfer from Leela. Transfer Durandal. Error unknown. Transfer Durandal. Interior error. Message received. Alright, here we go. Jarrett White had been floating 6 feet off the floor for 3 weeks. His feet and hands tingled, his eyes burned with the flames of a dying fire. He had last heard someone speak to him as the cell door slammed shut. He didn't remember what the uniformed man had said. The words had bounced off the bars of the cell and rang through Jarrett's ears. Jarrett had been talking to himself for the last few minutes, something about getting caught, but then his ears began to tingle just like his hands. He looked at his hands, but the fire in his eyes made him blink. Tears came, and when he opened his eyes again, his hands had been melted into fleshy pancakes that wafted in the ripples flowing over the fire in his eyes. Damn cell, he heard someone say. Last time I had a good meal was 3 days ago. The food they feed you in here could kill a lab rat. Rats. He had remembered something about rats, but his ears began to ring again, and the voice speaking to him faded off into the background of his mind. In its place, there was a new sound, the clapping of hands together. He blinked hard to made out his hands again. Oh, okay, well, yeah, even the best games have typos. They had disappeared, his arms connected at the wrists. He thought back to the time he went ice skating on a pond. He remembered the sound of his skates on ice, a gentle scraping away now the inside is... a gentle scrapping, It's scrapping, like with... Okay, I'm sorry, I'll just... A gentle scraping away now inside his ears, trying to tear down his thoughts. There had been a woman with a white fur tube over her hands. Her wrists were like his now. The wrists of someone who had tried too many times to clap his hands. He had been applauding everyone else in life, but never himself. The hands, like himself, had been put into prison, and he didn't know why. Can't sleep in here. If the smell of this musty bedroll doesn't make you sick, then the sound of the rats chewing inside the wall will keep you up. You'll wake up from your dreams to their little chomping. Sometimes I think they're chewing me. The voice was coming from inside the cell, but Jarrett couldn't see anyone. Jarrett hadn't always been alone. He could vaguely recall from somewhere inside his broken mind that there had been friends, lovers, murderers. He recalled a theory he had come up with after a bloody schoolhouse brawl. The theory was simple. At some point in time, everyone was a murderer. Whether or not they ever felt remorse, they had all wanted someone dead. Hatred. Everyone knew the feeling of hatred. Jarrett had known hatred on that schoolyard. His beater had laughed at their bloody faces, a laugh which now echoed through his ears, rhythmically blocking out the other voice in the cell. The schoolyard was usually a place where Jarrett and his friends would play football or foursquare or something, but today there was an edge. Maybe everyone had eaten cereal with milk that was about to go bad. Maybe there was too much smoke in the air from the Wheeling hubcap factory. Football had been extremely rough. Jarrett had gone to play foursquare after, but he got tackled by 5 boys who weren't his friends. But today, even foursquare had an evil twist. The top square today had become habituated to making fun of the first square. Jarrett had decided it was an evil day. Then his beater started to push him around. He exploded. Hatred flowed from his eyes, his hands and feet began to tingle. All of his coordination left him, and his face was beaten to a bloody mess. The schoolyard disciplinarian had been slow to notice the ensuing carnage, and she didn't really care anyway. Jarrett would have killed him if he could have. He would have torn out the eyes of his beater. He would have made him pay for his abuses. But his hands had begun to tingle. He couldn't feel his feet, and he had begun to float off the ground. Everyone was a murderer, but Jarrett couldn't remember his reason for why that was so. He thought it was something about hands, the passion for justice. His hands and feet had begun to tingle, and he was floating farther off the floor. He looked up from his hands, and he saw the bars of the cell moving left and right, opening wide and then closing shut, like the surf coming up a beach. Every time that he thought he would be safe, the bars crested up, the opening closing, the wave rising, crashing. The result would be the same. He would never escape. The bars would crush him, break his back. He could feel the roughness of the sand under his palms. For all the motion of the waves around him, his hands had come to rest serenely upon the ocean floor. His body tossed and flipped, pivoting about his hands under which he could feel the safe, coarse sand. The wave crashed one final time. He landed upside down, his hands thrown clear from the sandy bottom, the rush of the water filling his ears, his nose, his mouth, the sound of the crashing water cascading down from his feet to his head, penetrating his mind to tear down his thoughts. Like the sandcastle he had built to withstand the tide, his thoughts came down around him. Jarrett had a good life. So much time, so much time. He had loved swimming, turning, beating. He had loved the tingle in his hands and feet, his inability to kill his nemesis. Once he had fallen down the stairs, and just for a moment, his hands came to rest on the carpet of the stairs. In that instant, his body had frozen, floating over the stairs, safe from falling, but the moment didn't last. The ocean crashed about him, his hands torn free from the sandy bottom, his body flipping, falling. But now he levitated farther up, his hands still tingling. He began to float through the bars. He expected the instant of safety as his hands found footing, but that moment did not come. The bars squeezed his body. His chest tingled. As he fell through the cage, his legs tingled. The fire in his eyes had become a cold wind. He blinked away tears. He tumbled through the bars, spinning and turning. He could see a man. In his hand he saw a small white rat, a pounding. The crashing waves in his ears became rhythmical, hard. The man was beating the rat against the floor. Pounding, pounding. Blood covered his hands. The man's hands tingled. He had broken them on the floor of the cell. Disciplinarian, lover, murderer. Jarrett looked back into the cell. He saw himself. Disciplinarian, lover, murderer. He had killed his nemesis. The rat lay dead in his bloody hands. At last, he held the throat of his beater. He escaped into the waves. The waves. End message. Accept next message. Reply unknown. So that's the secret I was looking for. The Jarrett White terminal. Unless it's Garrett. I don't know. I've never seen Garrett spelled with an H, but you know, maybe it is somewhere. Um, but hey, I got an achievement for it, and that at the end of the day, aren't the Chivos the most important thing? You know, back then people did that just for bragging rights, you know. But all right, all right, now I am back, and I am not going back in the deprivation chamber. That's the thing that I most wanted to hit tonight. You must retrieve all three of the repair chips. There is no point in getting to the defense tower unless you have all three. Search until you have found them. All right. Let's just save there. I wonder if that crushes me. I guess it doesn't. Probably doesn't go up tall enough. Yeah, no. Oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah, now we're stocked up, baby. Stop throwing your poop at me. Assuming that's what that is. I don't actually know. I don't know if they ever explain. That's it. Alright. Oop. Whoa. Okay. Alright, and there's one chip. I'll take the ammo, though. Yep. The automatic manufacturing system is also having problems. I was afraid this would happen. You'll have to go to the manufacturing transport station to get the last circuit board, collect the two circuit boards that were transferred, and then go to the transport station. Take the elevator here to access the main processor tunnel. You should find the third chip intact on the transport station. The error was a failure of the final transporter conductor. Oh, and a security breach chip. Blah, blah, blah. I think that's one of the rooms I was in. Is there a health? I don't think there was. No, yeah, I can't go back up there, obviously. Oh. Hi. Oh, did I interrupt something? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. All three. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, so I've explored that. Alright, just go up the elevator again. Let's-a go! Oh, wait. What was down there? No, nothing. Okay. Let's-a go! I have to hit something, or... Oh, there we go. Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. Ah! There we go. Good job. I have received reports that from some human security forces. They agree that the aliens are concentrating on the aft engineering station. I would conjecture that they will try to shut down the Marathon's reactors. Your next mission will be to put the automatic defenses online. I will give you the exact information when you arrive. Teleport when ready. Alright. Probably should have put my health back up, but whatever. Counterattack. Defend this. I've received a preliminary report from some members of the science staff who have finished post-mortem examinations of 3 kinds of aliens. They report that by modern genealogical standards, the different aliens belong to different species. I have been collecting as much information as I can, and I will give you a report shortly. I have established contact with Durandal for the first time since the attack. He seems to have sustained less damage than I had previously suspected. Durandal reports that he had been in communication with the aliens. He says that the aliens behind the invasion call themselves the Four, and that the ones attacking the computer net are called Safut. He was reluctant to share the details of his communication, and I cannot understand this. Your mission here is rather simple. You must insert the circuits in the defense control terminals. Current location, shield recharge, yep. Okay. Alright. Okay. Big elevator. Oh. Oh, it's rising. Oh. Oh no. No! I'm gonna get squished. Very soon. I'm gonna get squished. They're gonna turn me into a pancake. Ah, hell nah. There we go. Sorry if that was a bit of a screamer for anyone. I thought I hit a save. I guess not. Alright. Where the hell was I? I guess this time at least I can try to heal up again. Ah! Let's not do that. Ah! Ah, don't run right into it. Oh, I killed it. Okay. No, okay, I don't know why. I thought there was something over there. Getting tired, my brain's playing tricks on me. There we go. It's right there, of course. There we go, that's it. Yeah. There we go. Alright. There we go. Ah, nope, nope, don't go in there, don't go in there. Yep. Okay, yep, current. Okay. I guess I just have to go in when it's on the way down. Which it will eventually be. I guess. Come on, buddy. So chat, how was your day? Mine was pretty good. Come on, you can do it. I believe in you. Leela, can you put on a show while I'm waiting? Oh, right, I forget. You can also, you can punch switches. There we go. Okay. Ah. I don't know why I say that like, ah. Ah, ah, ah. Now it won't go back up. Unless I do this. That was a bad idea. You know what? Since the next level is the start of the next chapter in the game, maybe I'll just get what I need here. How dare you! There we go. Oops. Oh, I guess that worked. Okay. Guess that worked. No, because that didn't open up. I might have just screwed it. There we go. Ah, let me up! Or actually, let me save, and then I'll go up. And then you blow up. Counterattack. Alright, well, we won't get to see the low-flying drones today, but whatever. It's probably best that I, you know, stop right about now anyways. But thank you for watching. I definitely want to try to do some more with these games before the new one comes out. I don't know if I'm going to get it. I mean, maybe at some point. I don't know if I'll get it, like, immediately or what. I don't know. It depends. You know, do I have to wear diapers? It depends. The answer is no, I don't. That was just a crappy joke. Literally, because that's what's in the diapers. Crap. Da 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 da.